Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It is Wednesday. All of our guests today brought to you by our title sponsor, Able Auctions and ableauctions.ca. Just before we get to Jeff Paterson, Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox from Soapy. Donnie, your Burnaby School, Alpha Secondary, its motto is where the best get better. Today may not be the case. I've had a tough go.
So when you go into the school, there's a big sign that says that?
I've been there for a while. I drive by it, but I haven't been inside it.
Should be on the front of the school.
Well, it's on their website, I believe.
All right.
Okay. Good?
Oh, absolutely.
Me and John Camara Parker, famous pianist. Him and I
graduated Alpha, yes.
In the same year, 1977. I'm sure Jeff is really fascinated by this. Joining us now, Canucks and Rangers tonight, Rogers Arena. Jeff Paterson from Sakaris and Price and the Rink-Wide podcast. How are you, Jeff?
I'm doing well, guys. Really looking forward to seeing how Rick Tocchet handles JT Millier tonight. And,
All right. Okay. Are you happy now?
Hey, JT hasn't scored under Rick Tocchet yet, so they need 8 games without a goal for JT. And
lots of assists, though.
Tankus will say perfect, keep it that way, but I want to be entertained. When I watched the Vancouver Canucks, I was not entertained at all in those last couple against the Detroit Red Wings. Those were brutal, and there's still too many hockey games left. There's 28 to go. Right? Like, they're not making the playoffs. We know that, and I know people want them to sink as far as they can, and that's why the game against the Rangers last Wednesday was perfect. They battled hard. They were close at the end, but they came up short. I want to see the Canucks compete, and look, if we're going to analyze this hockey club and try to figure out, who's making strides under Rick Tocchet and is this team any better under Rick Tocchet, they got to play harder and compete a little bit more than they did against the Red Wings on Saturday and again on Monday night.
Are you okay with what's happening practice-wise, Jeff, right now with the Canucks? Tough practices, battle drills as we near the end of the season. You usually don't see that sort of thing. Also walking through defensive assignments. Are you okay with that?
I am. I mean, you're right. You don't see that an awful lot, certainly at this stage of the season. But remember, 8 games under Rick Tocchet, and he's still trying to figure out what he has to work with. And he has lamented since day one that this compressed schedule, no practice time. So, I mean, one of his first days on the job, he said, I wish I had time for 10 practices. He's just not going to get that opportunity. So I wasn't shocked that he practiced them on Sunday. And I think Murph talked about it yesterday. With the early start on Saturday, they got home at a reasonable hour. It was Super Bowl Sunday. And I think it was just a reminder to guys that, there's a new boss here and he is staying on top of things. And so he wanted to take the opportunity Sunday to have a practice. Again, yesterday, I would imagine with 2 days off here after this one before they face Philadelphia on the weekend, probably a day off, but another practice day as well. And let's see what this game brings, because it feels like every game produces things that the Canucks have to work on. And so, yeah, I get it with Rick Tocchet. And look, this is a guy that battled certainly through his career. He was a hard-nosed, hard-edged kind of player. And I think he is trying to shape and mold the hockey club into some sort of facsimile. I mean, the game has changed, obviously, since Rick Tocchet played, but for the amount that he's talked about board battles and, play along the wall, it's clear that he expects a little bit more and wants guys to invest and dig in a little bit more, something they didn't do against the Red Wings. So, yeah, not a surprise that they went back to almost a boot camp kind of practice yesterday, and we'll see if it has any effect against a very good Ranger team tonight, and the Canucks saw that for themselves last week at MSG.
Hey, Jeff, no coach can survive in the NHL without his number one goaltender. Rick Tocchet is no different. The Canucks save percentage as a team is dead last in the NHL. But they get Demko back. He's got to be 100% healthy. We know that. What do you expect from him the rest of the way?
Yeah, I'm going to be fascinated on usage. Again, they're not playing for anything at this point, but I do think it's important for Thatcher, just in his own mind, to get, 28 games to go right now. He's not going to play tonight. Doesn't sound like you play on the weekend, so that's down to 26 games. So let's say there's 25 games to go when he gets the green light to get back in there. I hope that he can get 10 at the very least, somewhere between 10 and 15. I don't want them to overuse, and that's the last thing that I want from the organization. If they didn't learn anything from last year, this guy's coming off a serious injury. Just get him a baseline so that he gets the touches that he needs, he gets back into game action, and sort of builds up to some sort of baseline going into the offseason, and then hopefully he can come back strong next year for the Vancouver Canucks. But I am curious to see what do they do with the usage. I know that Artur Silovs is here as the backup. I hope for his sake, honestly, like I wouldn't play Silovs. I don't think they're playing him tonight, but there's been people out there that suggest, throw this kid a bone. He's had a nice season down in Abbotsford, and he has. And that's exactly where he should be at the age of 21. There's no need to bring him up and play him behind this defense the rest of the way. So for Thatcher Demko, I think it's just trying to regain the form that he had last year, because we know that even earlier this season, he was part of the problem. He wasn't part of the solution the way that he was a year ago. So for him, I think it's just getting back and trying to regain the form that'll allow him to go into the offseason, work on some things, and then hopefully hit the ground running at training camp next year, because really at this stage of the season, it is all about next year for so many of these guys.
Jeff, I'm always amazed at when a new coach comes in, which players go up, which go down. But Rick Tocchet's love for Di Giuseppe right now is incredible. He's on the second line right now with Miller and Garland. Got the penalty shot the other night. He likes him.
He does. I mean, Rick, this guy's a straight line player, bit of a hard edge to him, but he's producing shots at a remarkable rate for a guy who before tonight was down on the fourth line and scored the nice goal in New Jersey. So these guys are also skilled, even the guys that are tweeners when they get the opportunity. So I wasn't shocked to see Phil Di Giuseppe score the goal that he did against the New Jersey Devils. Now he's getting a promotion. I'm not sure that in the big picture, having Phil Di Giuseppe on the second line with JT Miller and Connor Garland is great for the hockey club. But again, this is all about experimentation. It's Rick Tocchet looking for certain things. So with all due respect to Di Giuseppe, great opportunity for him. I thought it was interesting, though, on a night where the Canucks were just terrible on Monday. And the first question to Rick Tocchet was, what did you make of that? And he said, I like the fourth line.
Yep.
And fair enough. Again, I think he likes these guys that show up with the work boots on and are ready to battle. That said, that fourth line started the third period, and it was a 3-1 hockey game, and 40 seconds into the third, they're fishing the puck out of their own net, and they never touched the puck prior to that. So I wasn't as enamored with the fourth line as the head coach was, and I was a little surprised. And I think you have to be careful about where you set the bar, because they had some decent nights out on the road trip, and Nils Amon scoring on Long Island. Di Giuseppe, as we mentioned. Curtis Lazar has looked a little more prominent, I think, under Tocchet than he did under Bruce Boudreau. So there have been some flashes here. But I don't know. I was surprised that was his reaction. Basic sort of, softball first question about what did you think? And he says, I like the fourth line. And look, I mean, you can read between the lines there. If he's pointing out the fourth line, clearly he didn't like what he saw above them. He couldn't have liked what he saw defensively from the hockey club. And we talked about goaltending. It hasn't been there for a while now for this group. But I just didn't think the fourth line was as good as the coach did. And in a key moment of the hockey game, it's 3-1. The Canucks weren't out of it at that point. But it was a terrible first shift of the third period, and the puck wound up in the back of their net.
What are the Canucks going to do with OEL, Jeff? What can they do?
I don't know. I mean, that was a dreadful night the other night, and he got the ball rolling on that first goal. He's in deep and just throws it blindly into the middle. And now you're handcuffing Luke Schenn against one of the fastest guys in the league, and Dylan Larkin just put it in turbo drive and scored there. That defense pair, first of all, don't play the two of them together. They were on for 4 of the 6 goals the other night. Speed is an issue now for OEL. I think speed has been an issue for Luke Schenn and his mobility, even though he's had a nice season. But I don't know. Like they clearly want to play Hughes and Bear together, and then that leaves the other defense pairings exposed, and you've got Stillman and you've got Myers. I don't know. I wouldn't put OEL and Luke Schenn together. I just think you're asking for trouble. The game is too fast now. Every team has guys that can burn, and especially if that's your second pairing, they're going to see some tough competition, and they have, and unfortunately have come out on the wrong end too often. So where it goes from here, I don't believe they're going to buy him out. I just think it's too big a check to write to make the guy go away, and it's easy for people to scream, buy him out. That's not your money. That's not your pen that you have to sign that check. So, can they find ways to shelter him? But it's crazy that we're talking about having to shelter a guy that's making the money that he is. And, it's not like he's 35 or 36. That's the problem. His decline has come on so quickly here. and yet there's still so much term and money left on that contract. So it really is an issue because this team can't defend, and unfortunately he continues to play top 4 minutes and is absolutely a part of the problems that have gone on with this hockey club this season.
Yeah, they don't have much choice. Jeff, thanks so much for this. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Thank you.